You know, this whole aging process, can we just tell you, I think Chris and I can both testify, not the funnest thing that we go through in the ring. But anyway, so MJ, how the heck are you this morning?
Mostly I'm feeling old. My knees popped.
You got a long ways to go, my friend.
Well, like getting out of bed this morning, right? It's like 6-ish. And I'm like, do I want to get up yet? So then I get up. Both my knees pop. And then I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And as I'm walking to go make my coffee, because I'm one of those coffee drinkers. Yep, black. My hip pops. And I can't tell if it's like popping into place or out of place. But then I'm like, well, today's going to be one of those days. But I'm alive and well, and the sun is shining. Although we could use some moisture.
We could, in fact. I'm actually not going to disagree with you on that.
So, but the rain's beautiful. We had rain, last weekend. I think it was last Thursday night on the mountain up on our place, and it was still puddly by the time we got up there Friday.
Where is your place on the mountain?
We have the radio towers. So there's a church tower. I call it the top of the world. It's about 10,000 feet in elevation. You can see all the way from, on clear days when the smoke is not, on the horizon, you can see Mount Wilson over in Nevada. I used to be able to see the Frisco Peak just north of
we can't even
Flagstaff.
We can't. Oh, that Frisco Peak.
The Frisco Peak out of Milford you can see for sure, and then you can see Lincoln County's Crestline Bridge.
Oh, wow.
You can see the gorge.
So are you up close to the transmitters up there?
Yeah, like we own the property around it. They actually lease it from us.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, but I just call it the top of the world. It's pretty cool. That's kind of my therapy, is getting out of technology and out of service, and I can find that there. And then we catch horny toads and make amazing s'mores.
Horny toads? I haven't heard that phrase for a long time.
Oh, yeah. We catch them all the time. And then s'mores have taken on a whole new level, right? Yeah. In studio today, we have Lee Bingham and Rashell Stubbs. But, like, s'mores, we've literally taken any not penny candies, but like the little mini bars, snack size bars. No, oh my gosh. But then you put those with marshmallows. Like you could do Reese's, are pretty traditional now. But like we started doing Mounds or Almond Joys.
Wow. Okay.
Like it's like, oh, that's a little different. And it's incredible. Let's make another one. So, but those are just some of my summer passions.
Well, that sounds, going up on the mountain's always a good thing.
It is, and welcome back. I'm glad your health has allowed you to come back on the air.
It's still iffy. I'll probably leave not much longer after radio today.
Fair. But, well, I'm glad to see you. And speaking of who's in studio, welcome to Wired Wednesday with McKenna Hansen. I am so excited to keep talking about silver lining equine therapy, and mostly because it's blending all of the craziness going on with the world with the agriculture that's in our area that we are so proud of. Really, though, I mean, both of your guys' families have been here for generations. I'm sure that at some point we either mixed or we were fast friends, 100 years ago. Sure. But it's incredible that we've allowed space in our hearts for things to come to fruition in that fashion. Mm-hmm. So kind of tell us the exciting news.
Yeah, so we are up and running. We're going. We're doing our thing. We do our therapy sessions. Of course, we have a day job, so we do a lot of our stuff on the night or in the evening or on the weekends. But we are ready to go with therapy sessions. We've had quite a few people reach out and start doing that, and so it's been kind of a cool experience. And as you were talking just about, I was thinking about silver lining and how it kind of came to be, and Lee and I have been talking about this for months. It was kind of a dream of ours, I think, for a minute, that we just like to talk about it. And then a few months ago we decided, let's do it. Like, we know what we're doing, which we don't always know that we know what we're doing. We're going to pretend, at least with some things, business stuff. I'm a therapist. Yeah, we can do the therapy end all day, but I'm a therapist, so I'm like, I didn't know how to run a business at first, but hey, we're getting way better at it. I've had a lot of help, and when we talk about the community, that's one thing I really think about too, is before I jump into the silver lining piece, is that I feel like our community's really embraced us, like all of our friends and family, and that's been really cool, I think, just to see people just reshare our posts or like refer people to us. Have volunteered to be in our photo shoots and just different things like that. And so it's been really cool, I think, just the support, which I think speaks a lot to our community here in Cedar City and Iron County, just how great of a community when you have kind of this agricultural background almost in a way. I feel like it's been super helpful that people listen to it, like listen to what we want to do and want to help us.
Well, and I love the fact that everybody seeks riding lessons, right? Mm-hmm. You have to know a friend of a friend of a friend with a wink to get riding lessons, right? And not that riding lessons is therapy or therapy is riding lessons, but you've now opened up the doors for general community who don't know people in our community who were driven here for a purpose to now have access to something related to agriculture to allow them to heal, or maybe why they moved here in the first place. Like, to me, what I see in my industry, right, is people moving from California or, you know, heavily populated areas to quote unquote the countryside, right? But they don't know why. And then they're like going to these mental health counselors and they're still like, why am I here? I miss all of my old life, but it was so unhealthy for me. This is now a huge avenue for people to kind of combine the two, I would say.
Yeah, it can be.
And I think there's this piece with these horses, whether you know horses, I would challenge that you don't know them in this way.
Yeah.
And so it's I think it's where you bring the community. It covers all, because I do feel like we can give you a different insight on a horse that you may not have had, or you've never met a horse and you can have a new experience in that genre.
So one of the images that just popped in my head, and just roll with this for just a minute. I feel like there's a cartoon of some kid, you know, slapping the reins and beating the horse and like moving their legs and stuff, and the horse is just sitting there like, well, when you're ready. Is that kind of what therapy's like, or is it a little different?
No, you go.
Yeah, right. No, yeah, right. Like there's this image that everybody creates, right? But when you get there, I think it's what you need, and it's a different experience for everyone. I feel that horse has that ability to meet you in exactly where your work needs to be done. And so when you talk about therapy, there's so much therapy that we do on the ground. And I'm not opposed to getting to the point where they're riding once that relationship is, that foundation's built, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I need the client to feel safe in the relationship before we're, jumping on and
Oh no, for sure.
And so to me, it's this foundation of, it's a relationship that I and Rashell and I really believe, and they need to feel safe in, and that's the first and foremost thing. It's this connected relationship that safety is first.
Yeah, and I think about how often people do not feel safe in their connections, right? Or we don't feel like we have that connection with others. And so the horses do have this ability, I think, to challenge you. So, I mean, you talk about this cartoon, I think about, but I mean, I've seen that also play out.
Yeah,
and
so true.
In our time doing our other stuff of, why won't this horse do, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with this horse? Why are they not doing that? And it's like, let's like seek to understand what's happening, right? Like, what are you doing? Like,
You mean slow down?
Yeah, like,
and breathe?
Yeah.
And be just in the moment?
Yeah, some of that for sure. We talk a lot about regulation. We use this, it's called Bruce Perry's neurosequential model. It's really cool. It's, bottom-up processing in your brain. I can go into brain stuff all day. I won't, because I'd be here for hours, but really talk about, where we are in our brains, especially if we've had something traumatic happen to us. We're really, really anxious. We're in different parts of our brains that make us struggle to connect with people and struggle to reason. And so really, another big part of that is this regulation piece with the horses. We can take someone who's very dysregulated, so I'll say I use the word dysregulated because I guess I'm a therapist, so I can say that stuff, but let's say you're super stressed out, you're
reactive.
Just a hot ball of mental.
And the horse, how does the horse respond to you? Like, what's going on?
Hot-headed.
Yeah, the horse might not want to be around you, right? So let's teach you how to regulate yourself. And then we take these lessons, I'm going to call them lessons, or like whatever we teach, in the arena, and how do we take those outside of that? So we might say, okay, like, when you're in a situation and you're feeling this, like, where are you feeling this in your body? Where are you feeling, like, where are you feeling this anxiousness, this hot ball? Like, sometimes, like, let the people, like, let our clients name it, right? Like, what do you call that? Where do you feel it? And then let's teach you some breathing skills. Let's teach you some, like, ability, like, what does it feel like to feel connected to this horse? And we have seen these things, like, when people regulate and they start doing these breathings, like this deep breaths, or they're, kind of trying to regulate themselves, the horses do it too. Like, that's always been the coolest thing, the horses. And so we call that co-regulation, right? And teach them, you can do that outside of here, right? So if you walk into somewhere, a situation or something that's maybe causing you a lot of anxiety, you're super stressed, how do you regulate yourself before you walk in?
So quickly on Facebook, thank you for watching Ben and Chaz and Cody Hone. Everybody's watching it this morning. It's pretty great. Chaz mentioned a comment. He said, like, them bringing the energy that we bring, or something to that. It's hidden now, but they give us what we put out, basically.
Yeah, a lot of times they do, or they give it to you more. Right?
Like they're unfiltered.
Yeah, again, like, I think about, you use that cartoon example, and so some of them are like, I'm just going to detach from this right now and just kind of ignore you, right? But that happens in our relationships too. If we come in really, just kind of
a hot mess.
Some of our relationships are going to be like, I actually don't want to deal with you right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Or we don't want to deal with the hot mess, right? Yeah. So
one thing, the horse will not judge either.
Yeah,
so, like, as you have this ability to practice it with this horse in a session, there's this non-judgmental feel, which gives them the opportunity to try it without feeling like they're in the relationships amongst themselves where there is that judgment, or there's that fear or anxiety that rises up more.
So they're allowed to be vulnerable.
Yes, the horse allows it. They'll give you that space.
Yeah.
Of just simply being.
And just being, they give you a lot of space, they hold, and a lot of grace. We always talk about that. And I think one thing too that I think we have recognized, and I've heard so many times, is that people will say, animals, I feel more comfortable around animals.
Mm-hmm. That would be me, by the way.
Right?
The energy.
Animals, because animals don't judge, they kind of, a lot of times, I'm just thinking, they give a lot of love, they give a lot of grace. And people we as people, we are judgmental. Like, that's our, just one thing we do.
Well, and one thing, sorry, these things just keep popping into my brain. I don't know. I'm totally left field today. But, like, I feel like horses are more of an emotional support animal than dogs and cats. So do you think we could get them on a plane with us?
They fly them. They flew them to the Olympics.
Yes, they did.
They flew them to the Olympics? Oh, my last hat. So it goes to show that where we're at in going to Silver Lining Equine Therapy is really for yourself, but to allow yourself to heal for your family.
Yeah, and for your relationships.
Or for your relationships, or the different things out there.
Yeah.
And for the equine, staff, I'm going to call them the equine staff, specifically, they also do more than just therapy. Mm-hmm. Lee, can you go a little bit into that?
I mean, as I was thinking what to share this morning, one of the biggest things for me is they bring out the best self in that client. Like, they have this ability to really surface the strengths that sometimes are covered up, right? Whether it's who that person wants to be or who they once were, but because of the traumas and the anxiety, it's been shoved back down, right? And the anxiety, their traumas are kind of what is surfacing at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that reactive piece, right? So we're trying to peel that all back and get to those deep, the kindness and the caring and the empathy and the sympathetic person that they either once were or that they want to become. And that horse will go on that journey with them
and walk through healing.
Walk through it.
It's incredible too, because a lot of the things that I've experienced in my own therapy things, we don't know that that's what's causing how we're showing up in the world, right? Like, if I want to show up differently, I have to do some hard work.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't know that exists, or the work exists, unless I am met with an equal or somebody willing to call me out on that, right? And the horses have the inherent ability to do that, just as being animals.
But they do it when you speak of call us out.
Yeah.
They do it in a way that feels safer.
Oh, for sure. Sorry, I wasn't.
No, I love it. No,
Yeah.
I love that you brought that up because, they bring up our struggles. They surface them, and in that session, both the strengths and struggles of that person will come up, and we are able to talk about it. But the horse will do it in a way that I think they feel safe and comfortable talking about it and being vulnerable about it, versus just being in a therapy session and talking one-on-one with an individual therapist.
Well, and it's really incredible, just the ability to sit back and calm down and know that, like, when you're in the arena, right, with these horses, that it's just you and the horse. Like, you guys are facilitating, right? You're facilitating the relationship, but like, even if I'm not necessarily a talkative individual, which, let's be real, I'm on the radio, pretty talkative.
Yeah, I can dispute that.
Right. But you guys are reading the room, basically, right? And you guys in your partnership and in your strengths of that partnership, with you specifically, right, doing this, you're able to watch the human and the horse and go through that conversation with them and kind of, again, like, address those bigger, deeper rocks that most people can't get through on a couch.
Yeah, and you can. I mean, I'm a therapist, so I'll say I'm not going to sit here and say, don't go to therapy.
No,
that's
not.
I'm just kidding. I just don't feel like I didn't say that. Yeah. But this, experiential therapy, things you do outside of the office, is just a different way, and and a lot of people can benefit from it, and you can see different things play out, and it's easier, again, sometimes for people who maybe are a little more guarded in a therapy session, and sometimes I think we have kind of these preconceived notions of what a therapy session is supposed to look like. We're supposed to go in and sit on the couch, and we're supposed to, like, spill our guts, and the therapist is going to tell you this, and you kind of have those with our equine therapy, because you don't know. You haven't seen a ton of movies and like stuff in the media that says this is what you do when you go to therapy. Right.
There's no characteristics or preconceived images of what the expectation looks like.
Right.
I feel like going into the expectations of the world, like there's already these lines laid out of how people are supposed to grow up, or supposed to be in high school, or supposed to be as adults. And I love shattering glass. Let's just be real. Like, I love challenging the system and going against the grain, because somewhere somebody stopped doing that, and that's why we're set in these, I'm going to call them highways rather than back roads, of figuring life out and going through this. And I feel like this is going to become a new highway because of the ability to actually heal people on a deeper level, because in some degree the world is starved of relationships and one-to-one relationships, but it's because of all of our generational BS. Hey, I caught myself. I didn't say really colorful language.
Hey, I don't care. Just let it go.
But we're so full of all this generational BS that we don't even know why we're reacting to some of these situations or relationships the way that we are. But having the ability to heal differently, or in a non-media streamlined way, is what's going to strengthen this area. I mean, and Iron County is already pretty incredible at what they do, right? We always show up for each other. We have this ability to bring people in more so than any other community that I've lived in. Outsiders who want to be a part of a family find their families here.
Yeah.
And through Silver Lining Equine Therapy. Yeah. Someday I'm going to get it all right.
It's wordy, but we love it.
No, it's beautiful. There's that real ability to be able to heal and show up better for yourself, your family, and then eventually your community. So I don't even know what the clock's at. I've run out of time.
A couple of minutes, maybe.
What is the number one thing that people need to know about you in getting a hold of you, or what their first session would be like? Any of that?
Okay, just tell me in the first session the horse is not going to stomp you into the ground.
Horse is not going to stomp you into the ground.
Is it going to lick you? Have you ever been licked by a horse?
Yeah, it could lick you.
Wow.
You can see some of that. There might be some of that. First session, and coming back to relationships and connection. First session, you are going just to meet all the horses, and and just like you would if you were going to walk into a place you'd never been before. You're going to meet some people. You're going to meet the horses, and we kind of walk around with you, make sure you know that you're keeping yourself safe. Of course, we're going to talk about safety and all that too before we go into like wherever.
Go ahead. Phone number and or website to book our first session.
Yep. Phone number. Hold on, I got a new phone number, so I don't remember it. But our website's in the making. It'll be silverliningequine.com or silverliningequineut.com. We also have Facebook and Instagram, so I know a lot of people have gotten a hold of us through that.
Silver Lining Equine Therapy.
Equine.
Equine, yes?
Yeah, Silver Lining Equine.
You can probably just search for that on Facebook and it'll probably show up.
Yeah,
Yes,
it'll just pop
Or you
up.
can search Lee Bingham or Rashell Stubbs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and our phone number is 435-572-0573.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us
Thanks,
for
guys.
Wired Wednesday. This is your host, McKenna Hansen, your local Farm Bureau Financial Services agent and your local real estate agent with KW Realty with the Larkin Group at 435-592-2021.
All right, see you guys next week.
Thanks.